All
right, we're back live again. AX Football, another episode. This is Rick.
I am Body in the house, always dropping knowledge. Let's do this.
Where do we start first this time? It's been a pretty crazy day.
I guess we can start with our favorite United. Let's get them out of the way. So popular that doesn't stop, man. It's better than days of our lives.
Well, they got the result. I don't think they played very well. They kind of looked like they were playing on the counterattack against Brentford, which is pretty sad considering United's supposed to be the dominant team in that matchup. But they got the result. They got the 3 points. Rangnick actually showed some balls today. He subbed off Ronaldo.
Yeah, that was good, man. Ronaldo was crying and everything, but man, the guy's done, man. And trust me, I'm one of his favorites, when he was playing, but you have to know when your time is past, man. Let the young guys eat. I thought they didn't play well. De Gea saved them pretty much in the first half. If it wasn't for him, they could have been 3-4-0 down. Second half, if you look at the Elanga's goal, was pretty good, but that first touch, he didn't mean it was a bad touch. But then quick decision to, go for the header, got it. Second goal, at that level, it shouldn't happen. You have two players going 2v1 against the goalkeeper. It just shouldn't happen at that level. And then the third goal, I thought it was the goalkeeper got beat near post. He should have gotten a hand on that. So if you look at it, they didn't really create much. Up until the first goal, United hadn't gotten a shot on goal yet.
Yeah.
And that was almost over 60 minutes into the game. And Brentford had like 9. And the United had 8 corners? And still they haven't scored. So, I mean, you have to take the points. I've come to accept, man, that I won't get performances from United. So at this point, I just want them to get the points and see if they can, how high up the table they can finish. And the coach, made a brave decision taking Ronaldo out. That was good. So, but Martial didn't play, so I'm still mad about that.
Is he leaving or is he staying? Rangnick, someday he says, oh, he hasn't made up his mind, and then now he's saying, oh, well, we want him to stay, and seems a little wishy-washy, too much back and forth.
Yeah, Rangnick is full of shit still, man. Last week, he said the guy didn't want to play. Martial came on social media right away and said, yo, I never said I didn't want to play. So then Rangnick walked back. I'm like, he knows Martial is a good player. They know it. He's no dummy. But the problem is he went and begged Cavani to not leave. And then he asked Ronaldo that, as we can see, he's some ways afraid of Ronaldo because of his, personality and everything. So where'd you put Martial? And they can't let him leave because he makes over $200,000 a week. What club is going to pay that? Nobody wants to pay. Sevilla wanted to take him. They don't want to pay it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't pay that either. So, and the thing is, United have 3 years, 2 more years still left on his contract. So it's not like one of those situations where you go, I'll sell him at any cost, So they kind of stuck with him. I think after January 31st comes or whatever, if he's still there, he will have to start finding a way to play because unfortunately they can't hold up the ball. Ronaldo can hold up the ball as a center forward and Cavani can hold up the ball as a center forward. The only one that can is Martial. So without that, even if he wants to play his German style, high octane, heavy metal football, you still need your players up top to be able to hold the ball. Unfortunately, none of them can hold the ball. Elanga can hold it, Rashford can hold it, Ronaldo can hold it, Cavani can hold it, Bruno can hold it. Greenwood, on his day, if he wants to, is a little bit better, but technically he can't hold the ball either. So that's why they take so much pressure is they get the ball up and then they lose it, it comes back. They get it up, they lose it, it comes back. Today, I think they had a period where they kind of had possession for a little bit, it was like 76% possession, but that possession was in the middle third.
Yeah.
If that was City or something, that would be in the opposing team's final third, and they'll possess it just outside the box. So that's how you see the different levels. So if he wants to play that kind of football, unfortunately, it will eventually has to be Sancho and Martial in. And then if Lingard doesn't leave, it probably has to be Lingard. And I think he knows it too, but the personalities he has to bench is too many to do.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It's Rashford, Ronaldo, Bruno. So that's three big ones right there if you drop, right? And then he's already figuring out a way to deal with Maguire. He already kind of dropping Wan-Bissaka and
Shaw.
Pretty much is Brexit. You get rid of the freaking Brexit players, man, they have a team. But he has to be very strategic how he does it. So I do feel for him. Like he's kind of boxed in a way. So
yeah. No, it kind of looked like an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer performance where, you know, they had some kind of like fake possession. Looked like he was letting Bruno kind of float wherever he wanted to play today. So he was able to get on the ball from deeper positions and spam balls into the corner for nobody. But like you said, they did hold the ball a little bit longer, but a lot of it was just backwards and sideways, which Radnick said he doesn't like. So you can tell even there, he's struggling giving up the control to the players to allow them to do that. And all the goals came on the counterattack anyway. So it's not like what the players wanted to do was actually working.
Yeah.
But I bet you'll see somebody on like ESPN or, you know, BT Sport come out and say, oh, this was a much better United performance. And this is the way the players need to set up, blah, blah, blah.
Nah, but you know how it goes nowadays. I don't know if you saw what Benzema wrote, said this week. That's why I like the French players, man. Like Martial, as soon as the coach said he didn't want to play, man, he came out and goes, none of that, man. Fuck that. I never said it, right? Had he not done that, everybody would have taken the story as the final fact. Yep. The coach had to come back and go, no, it wasn't that way. It was misunderstood. But Benzema pretty much said, you know, today people don't have the attention span. They don't watch football for the whole 90 minutes. So what most people do is they'll go, they didn't even watch the game, but they'll see Bruno got 2 assists and they'll go, yeah, Bruno is the player. They'll see Elanga got his first goal. And they'll go, yeah, Elanga is the next thing. Elanga was shit all game. Let's be honest. He was bad all game until that goal. Greenwood was average at best until that goal. So the play I thought the best player today was Fred, and Dallo on the right side I thought had a very good game. But because they don't have a goal next to their name, nobody will see it. Actually, Fred has an assist. He got the assist. Yeah, for the first one, but people don't see that. So Benzema was talking about how today people like consume football. They'll see like a little snippet on social media, and then they form the whatever. They come up with their conclusion from that. Well, as if you watch the full game, you go, you know what? Fred was good. Lindelof and Varane partnership, like I always said, is probably their best one, if not Lindelof and what's his name that went to AFCON. By those two, because there's good balance. Today I looked up the stat. Lindelof, 97% passing accuracy, duels. Varane the same. Maguire comes in, and Maguire is defending his own play on the corner and we give up the goal. So that's the problem is there's football fans that I call them casual football fans. They look at the stats because fantasy sports drive all their decision. If the player scores, they must be the best player. And then there are those that like you and me who actually look at the game, pass, who scored, and those stuff. I mean, you are telling me like during the game, as soon as Maguire came in receiving the wrong foot, he does that all the time. You know, he has bricks for feet, but he always wants to receive with the outside of his foot. I'm like, that's why the ball always goes away from him. And then he doesn't have the speed to catch up, but those are little details that the average fan doesn't care about. So,
well, and Ronaldo's actually been doing that a lot now too, where the ball's either behind him or a little bit underneath his feet. So then he tries to flick it with the outside of his foot. Yep. And at least 3 times today, he turned it over doing that. And I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing?
Nah, man, he's finished, man. It's not technical, Ronaldo. When he was younger, he used to have all that stuff, but the moment he decided he wanted to become a goal machine, he stopped working on his, receive, the little ball manipulation stuff, and he just focused on shooting the ball as hard as he can. And now he's become really good at that, but as you can see, he cannot hold up the ball, and he's not the number 9. It's just because he's old that everybody's trying to convert him to that. But if you look at how he receives the ball, when he checks back to the ball as a 9, he's receiving the ball straight up. So as soon as the defender, the usual hip check, right before they receive him, push him a little bit by the hip or right below the lower back, the ball, he starts chasing his first touch, the ball goes 5-10 yards away from him. And those are things that you can't teach a player at that age, no matter how good he is. But if you watch Martial, right before he receives the ball, he lowers his center of gravity.
Yeah.
That's even Haaland at Borussia Dortmund. If you watch him, he's a tall guy. But right before he receives the ball, he always like lowers his center of gravity. That gives him the balance that he needs on the ball. So
no, I remember last season, I believe, against City, the first time United beat City, Martial was one of the players of the game. And that's all he was doing. United would try to start the counter. He'll go to the corner, have one of the center backs on his back, hold it up, either lay it off or he'll spin him, and then release the counter attack and get United going forward. But like you said, there's nobody else who can really do that right now, which is why United is in a predicament. Because I would agree, I don't think they have the number 9, the natural number 9, to play the way the players want to play. Like even Ronaldo, Tellez was putting in some good crosses into the box. And every once in a while, he'd leave the box and go float outside the box, or he'll go wide as well, or he'll drop deep. And I'm like, this is supposed to be your bread and butter, just heading the ball, tapping it in, whatever. And instead, you dropping out into the midfield to try to receive the ball, and you can't even pass the ball.
Yeah. And that's what's his name was doing that, 2 days ago or 3 days ago? Cavani's doing that too. They want to come into the midfield, but the thing is they cannot retain the ball. It's not like back in the days when Rooney came, Rooney would drop in the middle, receive the ball. Because he can hold up the ball, he can turn and ping it left, right. He would ping those 30, 40-yard balls to the freaking whoever the outside forwards are. Ronaldo and Cavani don't have that in their toolbox.
No.
So even when they come in the middle, it's just a little bumper pass. So even if you give it to me, they just give it right back to you, which is useless. Well, they're freaking 37 and 36. After they've done that, because United don't really like patiently build up their play, they quickly move it to the outside and then they try and get it into the box. Well, now your center forwards are not there.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that for me, it's basic coaching. But I think these players are such big names that they have too much power. They don't want to listen, and they know the coach is a sitting duck. He's there for 6 months. So it's like, we don't even know if you be the coach when the new season starts. You're here for 6 months. It's whatever. It's like getting a freaking wife for 6 months. Of course, you do whatever you want because they probably won't be here after 6 months. That's why I'm like, United as an organization, their decision-making is poor. The better thing to have done to show intent was right away hire Ralph and go, hey, Ralph, you're the director of coaching or director of football, and then right away hire a coach. That would have shown intent, but they have Fletcher as the football director. So it's not director of football, but now Fletcher sometimes goes in the technical box thinking he's freaking coach. I'm like, why is this guy there waving his arms and stuff for? So you don't know who is in charge of what. They don't have clearly defined roles. Imagine, have you ever seen Pep Guardiola assistant in the box next to him waving their hands? Never.
Yeah.
So it's like
very rarely. Maybe
it's little stuff. They'll step in maybe one and they're out, but they're not out there giving tactical stuff. I don't see Klopp's assistant doing it. I don't see Tuchel's assistant doing it. I don't see Conte's assistant doing it. Even Arteta, I don't very rarely ever see. I've seen it a couple of times. So it's only United. And then they bring in this Ames guy from MLS. The guy he was unemployed. How you go from unemployed from MLS to United number 2? The whole club is run. So for me personally, I think they should burn the whole shit down and start from scratch, bro.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying. But there's some big profile players on some big contracts, and if they don't want to hit rock bottom and accept that they're, a mid-table team trying to pretend that they're a Champions League level team, then they're just going to keep signing these big name players on big wages. Then they're not going to be able to get rid of them.
Yeah,
which is what I've been saying. Either you back the coach 100% and you say, you know what, Ranić, you have free creative control. If you think a player needs to go, we'll work with you. We'll get him out. If we need to pay out his contract, we'll take the loss now so that the team can succeed later. That's what a leader does. But you're not going to see that.
Nah, man. Anyways, enough of the pushover club, man. Tottenham, man. I saw they did the madness. I was watching the first 30 minutes. they were freaking Pam and freaking Leicester. And then Leicester gets one break to score. So then I turn it to United. But I was looking at like the scores and some comments coming in, and I just saw everybody blew up at the very end. I thought they had lost the game, but I know
Yeah,
you were
no.
watching that, man. What happened?
I thought Leicester was the better team for the first 20, 25 minutes. And then Spurs started to grow into it. Kane got his goal to level it up. Second half, pretty balanced, I would say. And then going into like the last 15, 20 minutes, Leicester missed a few criminal chances, especially Harvey Barnes could have easily just passed it to Lookman to tap it in to make it 3-1. But instead it stayed 2-1, and Bergwijn gets a goal in stoppage time. I think there might have been one sub. But other than that, I'm honestly not sure why they played until the 97th minute with only 5 extra added minutes. I thought the ref was going to blow it after 2-2. But nope, Leicester had the ball, gave it away sloppy. Kane picked it up, turned, played a nice through ball. Bergwijn toasted Soyuncu. Ran around the goalkeeper and passed it in 3-2. So, yeah, well deserved for Spurs. They just stayed in it long enough, rolled their luck. Leicester, I think, let him out of jail easy with those criminal misses. And yeah, Conte,
that sucks, man.
he's the cat with 9 lives, man. You can't kill this guy.
Yo, the guy is a winner, man. Like I said, he should have been the right person for United. The players that are there, he would have put them in shape. If you didn't do what you want, he'll bench you. And when he leaves, he would have blown up everything, you know? So he would have coached. And then if you didn't like what they were going, he would have blown it up and you start from the scratch. But now I feel for them. You know, Harvey Barnes is my boy, man. I think he's a good player, really good player. But it would have been nice if they would have tied, would have helped United a little bit. But I do want Conte is just a serial winner. I think, like I said, I think our first show, I said Tottenham might get in there, and I think Chelsea will fall out of the top 4, and they've slowed down. I think I had United getting into a third, and I think that might still be the case, man. I think Chelsea will fall out, United and Tottenham will go into the top 4. That's what I'm thinking.
You're crazy, man. You're smoking some stuff. It's gonna be Tottenham and Arsenal.
Man.
United
Arsenal won't get in, man. Arsenal won't get in. They'll fight, but I think you never know. They're actually playing some good ball defensively. They're pretty solid. The reason why I'm saying United will most likely get in, if you look, they have 2 games on, and I hate these games in hand. I rather have the points than games in hand. But let's just say they have 2 games on Chelsea still to play. If you look at the schedule of their next set of games coming up, it's actually favorable. I think they can go. Actually, I had this up. Let me see. Who they have? They have West Ham next, right? And then they have the international break. So after the international break, we know they're going to go. Let me just get this up because I was just looking it up not long ago. After the international break, they have Burnley. So West Ham, you should get a win. You come back, the Burnley replay game because they got canceled the first time, I believe. So they play that game, right? And then after that, you have Southampton, Leeds, Watford. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You win those 5 games, add today and hopefully this weekend's game, and they're looking at 7-game win streak, something they haven't done in a long time. Then the real test come. You go to City, right? It's March 5th. That'll be Champions League knockout time. City might be just chilling, like, hey, our starters need a rest. Then you have Tottenham. It's like a final. Whoever probably wins that finishes in the top 4. And then Liverpool. So those 3 games would be a real challenge for them. And then after that, Leicester, Everton. So like if I was a coach, that's how, and I know they're probably doing it, that's how I'd be playing it out, going, let's run the table through February, end of February. All those games are winnable. That's why like the last couple of games hurt, like the tie to Newcastle hurts and the Aston Villa tie hurts. Those 2 hurt pretty bad. Like,
well, if they can't beat Villa or Newcastle, what makes you think they're going to beat West Ham?
I think the more the transfer window closes, right? Oh, it won't close before West Ham, but West Ham gives up goals. And I do think like the longer they have with this coach, the better they'll become. Hopefully, Pogba is back after the international break, the coach said. So I think they'll have a run, man. If then the window ends, they didn't sell Lingard, they didn't sell Van der Beek, and Martial are still there. All three players who've asked to go, all three players who've had clubs come in for them, and the club has said no. I think what he's trying to do is he knows those three players. He keeps saying, oh, they're good players. I like them. I love for them to stay. I think what he's trying to do is he knows those players, he needs them, but he doesn't want them to leave. Once the transfer window closes, I think that's where you see the ruthlessness. Because at that point, he doesn't care. He goes, if Rashford, I'm not playing you, or whoever, I'm not playing you, who cares? I have the players that I want to play. But he can't pull that out. He can't sell them off now. If he does, his hands are tied. And then if he goes, yeah, I'm fine with you leaving, and offers are coming in, he's not letting them go, then he's doing a double talk. Because all three players have had offers come in. And I don't know if you watched their pre-game conference, he's like, just from the rondo, he saw the level of Pogba. He's like, no, the guy's levels are next level. So he knows who the footballers are. And I think he's slowly working his way towards that. I still think like football has gone past him in terms of him being on the sidelines. But he'll blow shit up before he leaves, man. You know the Germans, they always start wars and shit. So this one is cupcakes for him, man.
No, we shall see. I don't think they have it in them, but you seem to have a lot of confidence. But this weekend for sure, I don't see them beating West Ham. That game has 2-2 written all over it.
Yeah, I could see that. The funny thing is United just can't get shutouts, man. Giving up goals last 10 minutes of games. This is what, the third game in a row, man. It's brutal. So no, but yeah, it's good for Tottenham. They got the results. I think Arsenal is probably sitting there crying like, fuck, man. You know, everybody pulled up on them a little bit. Tottenham jumped them, you know, so. And I think Arsenal will start feeling the pressure too. I think the closer they get to the end, if they don't bring in any players, I think they'll start feeling the pressure. So,
well, for Tottenham and Arsenal, they have no Champions League or Europa League. West Ham, I think that's what's going to kill them. Is I actually think they'll make a decent run in Europa League, or forgetting who they drew against in the next round. It might have been somebody like Napoli. If it is, then they might as well consider themselves out. But if they have a winnable game in the next round, I actually think that hurts them. They need to just focus on the Premier League and keep at that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Them not having what you call it actually helps them. I think you're right. Arsenal and Tottenham not having European football helps them. Yeah, that's a good point. All right, I guess those were the only games, right, that we wanted to hit. What about do you watch any of the AFCON, man?
I watched a little bit of Egypt and Sudan. It was a pretty bad game. Egypt, I'm not sure what's going on. I think they're stuck in a generational battle. They have a lot of the old guys still hanging around, but I think they need to just start looking toward the youth a little bit, especially guys like Mohamed Salah. I don't think there's enough ability or talent around him that he can just provide that final product like he does at Liverpool. Because even at Liverpool, people act like, oh, this guy is God. He walks on water.
Oh man, he's an average player.
I'm like,
at Liverpool.
He comes alive in the final third. Apart from that, he's good for defending and hustling and pressing. But otherwise, he's not going to do anything special with the ball until he's in the final third near the box.
Bro, you spot on. I tell people that, they say I'm a hater. I'm like, yo, if you watch a whole game of Liverpool play, if Salah doesn't get a goal and you're like, just watch him for the whole game, he's shit, man. He's like a Bruno. The goal hides all the cracks in their games. That's the thing that a lot of people forget, right? When Sterling wasn't scoring, everybody's like, oh yeah, now Sterling is shit. I go, no, he's always been shit. It's just the goals cover it up. When Bruno wasn't scoring, everybody's like, Bruno is shit. He loses the ball all the time. I go, They do it all the time. But if they get a goal or an assist at the end of the game, 90th minute, then it looks good. Classic example today, Elanga was shit. If I was the coach, I would have subbed him at half. He was that bad, right? I thought the last game on Sunday, he didn't play that bad. But today he was actually bad. But he gets a goal, and then he's the one that's interviewed after the game. All of a sudden, it looks like he had a good game. But if you were to go look at the numbers, his turnover rates, all that stuff, you go, holy moly, how's this guy play the whole game? So those are the things that makes it hard. It's a decision you have to make. Do you want to watch football like everybody else, or do you want to watch football from a tactical coach's standpoint? Unfortunately, you and I, that's the pain, is we're both coaches. So if we can't enjoy football just as a fan. We analyze the game, see what's going on tactically, all that kind of stuff. So I think that's what they're struggling with. Like, what's his name? If you can watch a game, let's just say, here's a good example. Let's say you watch a game of what's his name? Mahrez. If you watch Mahrez play a game and Mahrez didn't score or get an assist, at the end of the game, you still say, man, that guy is a freaking soccer player.
Yeah.
Like, he's good. If you watch Bernardo Silva play and he didn't score, you go, man, that guy's a soccer player, right? They both play for Mo Salah's positions, but nobody will ever watch a game where Mo Salah doesn't score and go, yep, he's a good soccer player. He was the best player on the field.
Yeah. Yep.
That's just logic, basics, common sense. Same thing with your Brunos and stuff. You can watch a game of Pogba not scoring a goal and you go, he's the best player. You can watch Luka Modric play a game, not scoring, he's the best player. Benzema. All the elite players have this about them. They can impact a game without scoring a goal or getting an assist. Kevin De Bruyne has this about him. And I always say, all the stats are good, but stats can lie. You know, you need to have the stats within context. You need to have some context with the stat. You can't just go, oh, he scored. Bruno got 2 assists today. He lost the ball over 20 times, right? So you can't go, yeah, he was the best player. But no, most of the time, that's what they do, you know? They go, oh yeah, he had 2 assists, so he must be man of the match. I go, no, today if I was really going to give man of the match, I'd have given it to either Fred or Dow. From a soccer perspective, those 2 players were instrumental to how United played and the result they got. Who is going to give man of the match to a right back?
Yeah, nobody, especially if he didn't score or assist.
Yeah, so no, AFCON pissed me off, man. Ghana, Comoros won their first game ever. I don't even know this country existed, man. They just won their first game ever earlier this year and they got into AFCON. And all of a sudden, they freaking beat Ghana, probably one of the powerhouses of world international football. Everybody's losing their mind in Ghana, like what just happened? And unfortunately, Africa, man, too much corruption, the wrong players getting picked because their agents are paying the federation, all that crap, man. So it is what it is, man. Until they kind of turn it around, they need to get rid of the IU brothers, man. They crap, man. They have better players, but the fans in Ghana, unfortunately, are so tough. They're still like on Asamoah Gyan for the PK miss from 2010. I'm like, without him, would have never gotten to that tournament.
Yeah, what the heck?
Far. But Ghana soccer is such, they're so passionate. It's like a religion. They don't let things like that go. So now what's happening is they're calling some of these Ghanaian players, and I was telling you, almost every team in the Premier League has a player from Ghana. Almost every team in Europe has a player from Ghana. But a lot of these people, when they call them now, they go, we don't want to go because the fans literally, like, they take it personal, insulting your attacking your family, everything. So some of them are like, you know what? I don't want to go. Jeffrey Sharp from Crystal Palace, he's another Ghana guy. Now they're calling, goes, nah, forget this. He used to go. He's like, forget this, man. I go and get abused for no reason, all that stuff. So they're kind of in a tough spot right now, But no, that's the first. That was bad. Like, even the commentators are like, this cannot be a tournament without Ghana leaving the group stage. It's like, it's unheard of.
Well, it looks like that's what we're headed for. So they better.
No, they're out.
Together.
Yeah, they played their game, so they're flying home. And then these dummies, they're paying each player $30,000 per game. I'm like, fuck is wrong with you guys? 30 players, $30,000 per game. That's like 900 and some thousand. Head coaches is $60,000 per game, and they got out of the group stages. some of these players that are like the local players, they don't make that money on their local team. Or even if they're in Europe and they're playing in like Sweden and stuff, they don't make freaking 90,000. And these guys got it for 1 week's work.
Yep.
So unfortunately, I think they need a whole rebuild. They need to burn that whole thing down. We've always been good at the youth level. So that's how we always graduate. We've won a couple under 17 World Cups. Under U20 World Cups, we've won a couple. So I'm hoping that's the case. We always get there and then we graduate through. So give it a couple years, they might come back. Hopefully we'll make it into the World Cup. So
yeah, they've got a lot of young players in Europe, like you said. So hopefully they can figure it out. No, what's their name? Algeria as well. They also don't look very good anymore. What's going on with them?
Man, the French are taking all their players, man. Most Mars technically could be playing for France, you know. A lot of Algerians are in France and they're getting call-ups to France. So the thing is, it's slowly becoming a talent drain. Same thing with Senegal. They lose a lot of players to Europe. And I think the one country I'll give a lot of credit to is Nigeria. They seem to find a way to get their players to play for their country. And hence they always get the result. I think they might most likely probably win it again, you know, is they're able to bring their players back. The players always go back to play. All the African countries, it's very easy for the other nations to just, you know, poke them off. And the funny thing is that they'll give them like one cap and then they never call them again. Then they're stuck. That's why sometimes I'm like, players like Hudson Odoi, he should be playing for Ghana, these type of players, but they get the one cap, like Tariq Lamptey, he's from Ghana too, but he played for England under 17. They'll probably get one cap on the national team and they'll never call him up
again.
Yeah,
they'll never pick him again. Yep.
That's what they always do to all these. So unfortunately, if you don't want to learn, you didn't learn from slavery and now football too, you want to be a slave, man, so be it, man. I don't feel bad for them. So it is what it is.
No, but I think it'll either be between Cameroon or
I think Nigeria will probably I think might do it. Senegal, I watched 2 of their games. They don't generate enough chances to score, but man, they have some players though. I have to give
they do, but yeah, they can't put the ball in the back of the net. But I think Cameroon, Nigeria, and I'd say maybe even Ivory Coast will be the favorites. What's his name? Abubakar for Cameroon. That guy's on fire, man.
Yeah, that guy is huge, man. I don't know. He's actually pretty technical for how big he is, man. And he has the experience. A couple of years ago, he was pretty raw, but he looks pretty good. Strong on the ball, aggressive. He's the captain now too. Yeah, he's the captain. So, I mean, he has a lot on his shoulders and the tournament is in your country. So whenever you play in your country, you always get an extra boost, you know?
Yeah.
But Nigeria always punk them in real life. So I think they might just do it again and go win the tournament in their country. So, but I will give a little credit to AFCON. The soccer is a little bit better than in the past. You can see teams trying to, you know, possess the ball, move it, showing more of the technical stuff. But man, all these African teams need new goalkeepers, man. But that shows you in Africa, man, if you're a goalkeeper, it means you were the worst player there.
Yep.
When you were a kid, man, you suck, go stand and goal. Some of the stuff the goalkeepers are doing, I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, it looked like I'm watching African League in Brooklyn Park, man. Nah. So hopefully goalkeeping will improve for the African countries in the coming years. But I think on the field, it looks cleaner than in the past. It's not as erratic, just kicking the ball wherever you want, street soccer. So I do like that. I think it's impressive. I'm not seeing, the only negative is same thing that happened to Brazil. If you go more structured, then you lose more of the creativity. So in today's African scene, it would be very hard to find a player like back in the days, JJ Okocha type of players playing, you know, with their skill and stuff. So, and I think, unfortunately, you can't have both. You can't have the structured soccer and have the creative freestyle players. And I think countries like Ghana has always been the type of country where we had like the creative players, and we're slowly losing those type of players. Brazil, for example, is another one. You don't see too many. I think Neymar is the last one left. I mean, they have the guy
Vinicius.
Ajax. Yeah, but his is not like he doesn't do it from like just this pure joy of it. His is like he watched a video and he goes, yeah, I want to learn how to do this. He's not like the classic Brazilian, like back in the days, that Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, the Neymar, even though it's not that. They do it out of straight joy. Like, you know what? I can manipulate this ball and still be effective with it. Vinicius is like one move and he kicks the ball and he runs. It's still not 100% Brazil, like at least the Brazilian players that I knew. Like Cafu and all those guys, even what's his name? Marcelo.
Yeah.
At Real Madrid, it's more technical than Vinicius on the ball in terms of playing with joy and joga bonita, those type of stuff. So I don't know. Hopefully, I'm hoping that there's a medium where it shifts a little bit, where we get the freestylers and creative players back in the game, because you do need them. It makes it fun,
Yeah.
Like playing basketball without dunking. Everybody just does layups or shoot threes. You need that showboating type of personality. So.
Yeah, it adds a little bit of variability too. It will be too predictable without those players. You throw them in there now, the other team doesn't know, oh, do we have to double team this guy? Is he gonna toast our slow defender on his side? Should we put someone else out there? So it changes the game up a little bit, I think.
Anything else on the transfer market? I haven't seen anything that hot lately. So, and we're getting close. 11 days away from the
11 days. Not a whole lot going on.
I keep seeing Diego Carlos heading over to Newcastle. I think that would be a good buy for them. Center back. Yeah, I'm not sure, man. I don't see Lingard. United obviously rejected Newcastle's new offer. And like I said, I think they're just playing a game to try and hold on to him. I keep hearing, what's his name, coming back to EPL, man. Suarez coming to West Ham. No, Aston Villa. So I'm like, Gerrard is trying to put that Liverpool team back together. Might call Danny Sturridge, whoever.
He's gonna call Sturridge and
he's playing in Australia. But yeah, I keep hearing Suarez coming back to Premier League. His role has diminished at Atletico, and then Hazard's name keep coming up for Premier League. So it sounds like there are a couple of clubs looking to buy him. It sounds like Chelsea and Everton and Newcastle are the three clubs looking to see if they can get Hazard. I'm like, yo, Chelsea, let him go. But you know what's funny about this? People always say Premier League is the most difficult league. But how many players leave the Premier League outside of Ronaldo or some of these other leagues and been successful? And I always say those leagues might not be as fast or athletic, but they're actually smarter and more technical. So the Premier League players struggle there. They might not be with the physicality. That's why, like, look at Nasri, Hazard, Coutinho, and they went to some big clubs. It's not like they went to some low of the bottom of the table clubs, and they all struggle. Gareth Bale, you name them. They normally struggle when they leave the Premier League, but there's a lot of players that come from Spain right to Premier League, and they find it right at home. So I always wonder, is the Premier League considered the best league because of the marketing and just from a business standpoint, they've been able to market it the best, but it's not from the soccer standpoint. How many players from, I don't know, Burnley can go to Spain and play on any team in Spain?
No, none, I don't think.
But I bet you.
Maybe one of the center backs or the goalkeeper.
Yeah. Outside of that, but I bet you most players on most of the teams in Spain, even the last place team can come to EPL and play on Burnley or play on any team, most teams. So, but it's interesting that all these Premier League players are not making it and outside of the Premier League and looking to come back. So, there's a big transfer. Xavi telling Dembele he better renew his contract or leave in January. That came out yesterday. That's pretty big news and pretty bold by the coach.
Yeah, well, I think he talked to him the first day he came back, and he said, "Hey, you're a big part of the plans I have for this team going forward in the future." So he's been playing him a lot more, giving him a lot more freedom, coaching him a lot different than the managers of a few years past. So he definitely wants Dembele there. But Dembele is kind of playing the flirting game, like, oh, I could go here, I could go here, maybe I need a change of scenery. Somebody might pay me more. You guys are broke. And Xavi, I guess, is just now putting up with them, which I actually respect.
No, I
Tell
do.
them straight up, like, hey, renew your contract or get the fuck out.
Yeah, no, I like it. His exact quote is either the player renews or we look for an exit for the player. There's no other possibilities. So, I mean, I like him, man. I think Dembele is top-notch player, but I do feel like he will get that volatility thing where all the talent is there, but it's either injuries or something. I think he lacks the maturity a little bit to realize, bro, this is a job. And in this field, the new Dembele will be up tomorrow. They quickly forget about you. Before you know, you're playing for Pisa like Balotelli in Spain. Nobody even know what the hell that club is, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes I think these players, they make a miscalculation thinking, oh, you know what? I have all the power, all the shots. I go, football goes by fast. Just recently, Rashford was an 18-year-old scoring 2 goals in his debut. Now he's 25, about to be 26. That gives him what? 2 years left in his prime for a striker. 26, 27, 28, he's lost a step, and he already lost a step with his injuries. He's done. And then we start falling around. So I think a lot of time, these athletes miscalculate their true value, especially when you're not taking care of yourself, like a Ronaldo have the business sense to, get revenue from other places. And once you blacklisted, you're done. I think that's what just happened to Lukaku, right?
Yeah.
He overestimated his values. I think I should be playing at Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. Are you on fucking drugs? You can't even control a ball. Well, the problem that he has with that interview is he's 29. He's not getting another big contract. That's it. So it's better is he either shut up, Chelsea will probably find a way for him out, or he stays there and take the money, or else he's done. What, he has 3-year contract. This is year 1, so he has 2 left. Even if he stays at Chelsea and he leaves, he's 32, right? He's done. Nobody's paying him. If he forces a move out of Chelsea right now, nobody's paying him the money Chelsea is paying him. So when he thought he was like, he had all the cards and went and did that interview, whoever was advising was an idiot. They didn't think through these things. And that's the sad part, man. I played in football. I know what happens with agents and all that. It's bad out there, especially if you don't have street smarts, common sense, business sense about you. You play, and by the time you're done, you have no money. And it's not just football. It happens to basketball players, NFL professional athletes. Very few are able to navigate. And those that do, normally, you can see just from interviews that they're smart. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, I think not just Lukaku, but the entire world oversold how good he is. I think at Inter, he played in a system that was very much central around him. And then no offense to the Serie A, but those defenders, I don't think are of the highest quality. He was able to bully quite a few of those guys.
Yep.
So that, of course, he that gave him a little bit of a confidence boost. And everyone's like, oh, well, he's always so great for Belgium. I'm like, he hasn't won any World Cups.
But they haven't won.
He's not scoring against the big teams. He's not carrying Belgium to a Euro or a World Cup final. So he's bullying the teams he's supposed to be bullying, but when it's time to prove himself on the biggest stage, he can't do it.
Can't do it. Yeah, for me, I think I've always thought he was shit. If Lukaku grew up in England, he would have never made it as a professional footballer because there's 1,000 million kids, Africans just like him, his same size. They would have probably turned him into a center back or something, use his big head to just hit the ball. But in Belgium, he was the biggest fish in a small pond. So when he was, I read his story, when he was like 12 years old, he was already like freaking 6'1" or some shit like that. So he was just scoring for fun. And that's the way he made it through. But from a soccer perspective, the guy can't control the ball, the guy can't pass, and the guy can't finish. And he's a striker. Those are like finishing. He can't dribble either. So what is he good at outside of bullying? What people didn't get is the center forward he was playing with at Inter was a perfect complement to it. Arturo, whatever his name, Martinez.
Yep.
He's
Sanchez
very good
too,
at
actually.
he's very good at dropping in central, receiving the ball, dragging some defenders, then leaving Lukaku one-on-one. Unfortunately, Timo Werner can't do that. Ziyech can't do that. Hudson-Odoi can't do that. The only one that could do that is Havertz.
Yeah.
But those two are not a good complement of each other, because Harvard is also like control the ball, but he does it slower. He doesn't do it quick where as soon as Lukaku makes that his little 5-yard sprint, he gets the ball. Harvard to play with a little bit more control pace like an Ozil, so it doesn't work if you put both of them on. One of them has to play or the other has to be on the bench. Unless the only way it might work a little bit, like let's say Chelsea was to go get Hazard and play him next to Lukaku, Lukaku would look better again. But right now, they don't have a player like that. If they were to get like a Sancho and play him next to Lukaku, he would look better again. But because they don't have it, unfortunately, this time, the guy has to swim. And we find out that Black people don't swim, man. It's the truth, man. You see it now. So it is what it is. But that's, yeah, I guess Eriksen going to, I saw that. Brentford, it looks like, too. Keeps coming up.
Yeah, he's supposed to be, but I don't know how much he can play, even if he does end up making the move. It's a risky one,
I suppose, man. But no, I really wanted him to get another chance, man. It's like what happened to him. It's not something he can control.
Right.
So if he can play in England and they don't have the same rules, I'd love to see him come back. It wouldn't be a bad idea for Tottenham either to just go get him and give him a shout, for at least the rest of the season. It doesn't hurt, just a few months and call it a day. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But it will give him a little something in the midfield that he doesn't have. So they don't have right now.
And I know Conte would love to have him again, because even at Inter, Conte actually didn't like him that much at first. And then he saw like, God damn it, every time this guy gets the ball, he creates something. Might as well play him more.
Yep. So, well, slow week in terms of soccer. So I guess we could just wrap it up with these stuff, and then we'll be back next week. And next week, I think the next 2 weeks, we should have more stuff because transfer window should get hot the last couple of days. So.
Oh, better, especially if you're a Newcastle United fan.
Oh, yeah, that's true, man. They need some players bad, bro. Man, them giving up that goal against Watford at the very end was brutal, man. That was against a relegation opponent. God damn. I don't want them to go down and then have to work their way back. I want them to stay in because it will make this summer's transfer window probably
very interesting. Yeah. Now, even if they get relegated with the money they have, I feel like there's still a few good players who I wouldn't say are dumb, but who are willing to play in the championship for a year and just have a fun time there, make good money, and then come back to the Premier League the next season.
Yeah, I suppose.
Obviously, it won't be like the top tier players, but I think they'll still be able to get a handful of decent players to walk through the championship pretty easily if they have to go down.
Yeah, it's like what's his name, begging hat tricks every weekend in the championship. Mitrovic at Fulham, man. He's getting paid. They had money, they gave him the money, and he's like, he dropped with them, came back up with them, and they got dropped again. He's like, yo, I'm chilling here, man. I'll get my money, So now I love to see. We should probably touch on Everton, man, getting rid of their coach, man. Who do you think they get? It sounds like Rooney's name is coming up and Lampard, man.
I think Rooney and Lampard are both bad moves for Everton, but they're almost stuck in the same place as United, where it's like, okay, the expectation from the board is this, and the coach's idea is the opposite.
Yep.
So until they align and say, okay, you know what, coach, here's the funds you want to buy the players you need. We're going to buy in. Let's get rid of who you don't want as a club, and let's go from there. It's always kind of been like a very tempered or controlled exchange of power. Like, okay, we get a little bit of money, we'll let you make a few decisions, but we're still going to hold the majority of the power.
Yeah.
It doesn't really work that way. Like, look at Guardiola. He spent so much money on defenders, and now he finally has a backline that he likes.
Yep. If it
But people
doesn't
don't
work,
remember how many other players have gone through that cycle, and he's like, nope, garbage. Replace them. Boom. Next season they're gone. You know. But unless you have a board who's willing to give you that kind of power and money, you can't hang.
I mean,
I would
that's
love to see Graham Potter there, but I don't think he's going to make that move.
yeah,
For him, it's actually almost a downgrade,
yep, it will
unfortunately.
be.
Like, even though some of the players are technically better, and I think he could do a good job with that squad, I just think he's in a much better position now at Brighton where he has a lot of the control. I mean, freaking last month, there was games when they were booing them because they didn't win. I'm like, what the hell are you guys booing this guy for? He took you from nothing to something.
Yep. But that's the thing, man, short memory. And I mean, I think you spot on, man. Everton is a tricky situation. They're a big club. They're not a small club. I think like the all-time wins and stuff, points-wise, I think they're ahead of United actually. So it's not like they're a small club. But when you look at the way they're doing things, it's like they don't 100% believe. I don't think they themselves believe that they should be in the conversation. And if you look at the players they buy, Ancelotti did a good job bringing in he had some pull to get some of these players in, but then Benitez didn't play a lot of those players. So they also have a lot of players that they're paying a lot of money. That how do you get rid of them? If a third coach comes, he probably doesn't like them either. Or he might like some of Ancelotti's and he doesn't like Benitez. So it's one of those things. I do believe the way football is going now, you need to have a director of football, you need to have a philosophy, and then you recruit players based on that, which is what Liverpool does. When you have that, you can buy players at the price that you want. Similar to what you said, Pep has the money, he did it, and he got rid of them. But that's what we call business. If it's a bad investment, you get rid of it. You don't hold on to it until it bankrupts you. United holds on to it till it bankrupts you. Wan-Bissaka is a bad investment, but they can't get rid of him because of the money they paid for him and how much they pay him. Luke Shaw is still the highest paid left back in the world, 190,000 a week, whatever he's on. For Luke Shaw. So who is going to pay him that money? No one will. So he's kind of stuck. Phil Jones still makes over 130,000. He hasn't played in 4 years, right? Greenwood, a young player, is already over 90 or 80,000, 90,000 a week. He hasn't done anything to deserve that money. So they normally pay ahead. They use money to convince somebody to stay. And then once you get the bag, you don't care about the rest, man. If you rob the bank, man, you don't care about the rest. You're like, fuck this. Most of the time, you need to have them to be hungry long enough to wait for that final one big pay, which is going to come normally, I'll say around 23, 24. They should get their first big pay, get it again at 27 or 26 with a renewal of 27. And then at 30, you make a decision. Do we want to keep a player, which is what United used to like to do. It's like, yep, we only give 1 year contracts once you hit 30. And all of a sudden they've changed that. Cavani's getting this, Ronaldo's getting this, Matic is over 30. So it's just, you got to move with the times, man. And unfortunately, they're not. So it is what it is. But I do like Benitez. I just didn't think it was the right timing. And he had a pretty good gig in China too, man. I bet you they were paying him a lot of money. And now he's unemployed. So the coaching stuff, man, it's not easy if you do it for a living. Today, you might be the hero. Tomorrow, man, you're unemployed. So.
But for Benitez, I think he's been around the block so many times. He'll get a job before.
Yeah, he'll get something to save someone somehow. But Lampard better not get it, man. He's not there yet. He should go keep working in Championship. I don't think Rooney is bad. I think he's doing a pretty good job at Derby with the point deduction and all that stuff. But is it too early for Everton? It could be. The only reason why I say it won't be is because Rooney has the temperament. Like he has the I don't give a shit temperament. And if you watch, Steven Gerrard has the same thing. Yeah. If you watch Steven Gerrard's press conferences, if they ask him a dumb question, he laughs them off like, are you serious? Ole and Lampard never had that in them. Ole and Lampard are yes men. They like to play the political role. Unfortunately, in football, you get eaten up alive. That's why I think Rooney could go. If fans are booing him, you tell him, what are you booing for, man? You guys went third to last place when I took over, so you better be happy someone is here. So it'll buy him, and people respect that. Even though that might not be what they want to hear, they respect that. It's like coaching a player and you know the player is not at the level, and you tell them, even though they might be mad at you, the moment you tell them, when they go home and they're laying down and they really think about it, they know what you said is true. It's better than you going, don't worry, you're the best, even though they know that you don't believe that. So I do think Rooney might be able to do it, but I just want to see him save Derby first, because I think he's doing a good job. Like, they're not far from making it out of the bottom three. With starting off with 21-point deduction, man, that would be freaking Houdini of Houdini jobs if he pulls it off.
Yeah, I think if they appoint like Duncan Ferguson, caretaker or whatever, short term until the end of the season, and then in the summer assess their options again, there could be something better. Or maybe by then Rooney has pulled off the magic and he can come into Everton with a little bit of confidence.
Yep, spot on. Nice. All right, so we should call it a wrap for this week. Anything else we missed?
No, I think we're all good. Just need our fans out there to subscribe, to like, to comment, share, get a little bit more involved, start having some guests on the show, liven things up a little bit.
Excellent. Yeah, fans out there, man. Like, subscribe, share, man. Don't be a freeloader, man. Let's grow this channel, man. We'll keep dropping the knowledge on people. And like we said, we're working on a few people coming on, and then we can go from there. But another good show. Click the like, subscribe. Don't forget.
All right. AFC Football guys. See you guys next week.
You know it.